Hi there everyone, it's Missy here. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to my February mid-month weigh-in. The white roses are back. I think I kind of like it better. I don't know about the lighting. I have one big light now. We took off the barn door thing. I feel like it's a bit lighter, but I can't tell about the color. I can't see without my glasses on. So we'll see how it looks in post, but hopefully it looks a-okay. This video, like I said, I'm going to be doing my weigh-in for the month, or half of the month, and I'm going to be talking about setting boundaries, or boundaries that you may or may not have as someone who lives with chronic illness or chronic pain. And so, I mean, it's not going to be like this preachy video, but it's going to be, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because I had my own kind of revelation with that. So if you're new here, new to my channel, hey, hi, hello. My name is Misty. I am dealing with some health issues. I have a form of muscular dystrophy. I have an an immune deficiency disorder that caused an autoimmune disease. I have a disease in my spine that causes the ligament to calcify, and I will be having a pretty big cervical fusion. It's like some sew right here to my middle of my shoulder blades at the end of May. And I am trying to lose as much weight as possible before that happens. And so in the last video, I had been up a pound, and I am happy to report that in the last video, I was 323. I'm now 320. Rob's like, this is the lowest you've been since we've been together. And I said, I still think this may be the lowest weight I've been my adult life. I can't remember what I graduated high school at because it's been almost 30 years. Next year will be 30 years. That is some crazy bullshit. So I really don't have an idea of what I weighed then. I want to say it's like 335. It could have been 365. I have no idea. My highest weight was 430. When I started really weighing in over here in March 2017, I think I was 425 when I started keto initially. So right now I'm just trying to eat as low carb as possible. I'm on 10 milliliters. Is it milliliters? I think it's milliliters of Mounjaro. And in my last video, I talked about I had started a medicine called Glimepiride or something like that. So let's start there. So I started Mounjaro mid-December. So I've been on it almost 2 months. And I mentioned in the last video, my blood sugars had been elevated for months and months and months and months and months and months. So I reached out to the endocrinologist. He prescribed this. So in that video, I think I filmed it on a Thursday, I mentioned that I hadn't had any carbs. I was like, oh wait, no, I had Taco Bell. And then after that, I had Chinese food. And the next day, I had pizza. And I looked at Rob and I said, what the fuck is going on? He's like, what? I was like, I said the whole entire time I've been on Mounjaro, the food noise was gone. Meaning people are like, what is food noise? If some of us think about food all day, every day, like all day, every day. And I remember, I know people don't like Oprah, but she talked about going on a GLP-1, and she was like, I just thought skinny people had more willpower than me. And she's like, I thought it was just me. You know, there was something wrong with me. It was my willpower. She's like, no. She's like, I was thinking about food all day. There's food noise in my brain all day. And she's like, with that being gone, it was like a whole world opened up. And that's exactly true. I never thought about I never thought about food. And so that Friday I said, I'm done. I'm not taking this anymore. And so I stopped the Glimepiride. Glimepiride, whatever. I was on it for about, 5 or 6 days, but I completely stopped it. And I'm finally getting to the point where that food noise has stopped again. Because that's what I told him. It's like, I would have, last week, I never thought about Taco Bell or getting Chinese food or like, ooh, I really want Chinese food. That hadn't happened. That hadn't happened in weeks and weeks and weeks. So I was really frustrated. I was just like, argh! So I went back off of it. And I've spent the last few days trying to get back on my shit. So I'm lucky that I'm down, to be quite honest. But as I've mentioned before, the weight on the scale is just your relationship to gravity. And I mentioned in the last video, the weather in Texas. I got a Facebook memory today. It was 4 years ago around this time when we had that really bad Arctic storm. and like people died, our power went out, or we didn't. We kept our electricity, thank God, because we're on the same line as a hospital. But like people's pipes burst, people lost their house, people died. I mean, it was absolutely awful. We were like the temperature that day was 3 in Texas, and we're supposed to have that kind of weather again this week with the wintry mix and all this other stuff, and it's just like. But anyway, the memory said my body is about to kill me. Like it was like, I hope you're faring better than I am, because the cold. Like my grandmother would be like, oh yeah, we're about to have a cold front. And I'm like, how do you even know that? And she's like, my body's telling me. And you don't really understand that until you feel it. Like I'll look at Rob and be like, are we about to get a cold front? He'd be like, yeah, why? It's like, because my joints sure do hurt. I sure do hurt. So I am not looking forward to this week, but I'm going to stay on top of my pain pills. That's one thing that I can really be bad at, is just let the pain go and go and go until I'm finally like, okay, I'm in so much pain that I can't handle it. And that's actually not what you want. You want to stay ahead of it. So I'm going to set an alarm every day for every 4 hours. And then once the weather kind of gets back to where it's going, then hopefully I can back down of that. So I'm not looking forward to the weather, but it is what it is. It's February. I mean, we could be having tornadoes. It could be 80 degrees. It was like supposed to be 70 something yesterday, I think. So the weather has been all over the place. So that's kind of what we're doing with the weight. I anticipate being up when I weigh again at the beginning of the March, because again, it's going to be the weather and just inflammation. And I'm not even going to try to like just focus on that. I'm going to focus on doing what I need to do. Like making sure that I am not trying to eat off plan, or like the food noise is gone. So that shouldn't be an issue. But, but I do want to talk about something real quick. Actually, we're going to talk about a couple of things, but this is the first thing. The other day with this medicine, I really wanted a Snickers. Like I just wanted a Snickers so bad. And if you know me, you know I don't have much of a sweet tooth. Like I would rather have, like you could put a cake or chips and quesos in front of me. I'm going to eat the chips and queso. Somebody else can have the cake. But I wanted a Snickers, and Rob's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, let me look on Walmart to see what kind of Russell Stover's candy they have. They have so much now. So one of the things I picked up was the toffee, and then we picked up the peanut butter cups. When I tell you that both of those taste just like what they're supposed to be duping, and the peanut butter cups from Russell Stover's taste better than the sugar-free Reese's peanut butter cups. They are so good. I gave a piece to Rob, and he's like, I can't tell the difference. I was like, I know. The toffee is so good. Tastes just like a Heath bar. So I'm not an advocate for having sweets every single day. But if you are craving something, it's always better to get the better, I don't want to say bad choice, to get the better choice of the two. So rather than having a full sugar candy bar, I got one that is artificially sweetened. And before you come at me with chemicals, blah, 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 water is literally a chemical, okay? Water is H2O, 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Those are chemicals, okay? Okay. Plus, at this point, I don't give a flying fuck. I honestly don't care. As long as I'm treating my body the way that it needs to be, if I have a treat every once in a while, I have a treat every once in a while. Again, I'm not someone who normally is a sweets person, but the Atkins gummy bears are really, really good. I have about 2 packs a month. And then these 2 candies are good. Now, asterisk, I told her, I was like, we can't buy these anymore. And he's like, why? I said, because I want more of them, more of them. And that is sometimes one of the drawbacks of artificial sweetener. It can make you more hungry, depending on the person. It's not true for everybody, but yeah. So the toffee, the peanut butter cups, the mint ones are okay. I didn't try like any of like the M&M ones or anything like that. I already knew I liked the pecan cluster, but the peanut butter cups and the toffee, I was like, don't buy no more of that. I mean, number 1, it's expensive. But number 2 is like, I wanted to have it every day. And that's just not something that I want for me, but I want to share that with you, that it is actually pretty tasty. They're so good. They're so good. So yeah, anyway. Okay. So I mentioned in my last video that Rob and I were planning on doing our big grocery shopping trip. We actually hadn't done this in at least a year. So Every year we have a deep freeze. Every year Rob and I will go to Sam's. We'll spend like $600-700 on meat, and that meat will last us at least a year. We hadn't done that in a while. So at the beginning of the month, he got a big check because he had like 73 hours one week. We also got our tax return. So we were able to put everything back in our emergency fund. We were able to get the tree outside trimmed. And the other thing we were going to do was we were going to go do this big shopping trip. So he had to work MLK Day in his office. That was a holiday for them, but he had to work. So his boss was like, take another day. So he took this past Monday off. And I said, why don't we, instead of you going grocery shopping by yourself on Saturday or Sunday, I said, why don't we do all of our shopping on Monday? I said, we could hit Sam's, we can go to Home Depot to look at, because we want a storm door. And we'd already looked at Lowe's. So I was like, why don't we go to, we can hit Home Depot before we go to Sam's. I said, then we can run by the flooring store, because we got a quote to fix our laminate. And we're trying to find a flooring that will work in our master bedroom. And finding a cool tone gray vinyl has been like trying to find a needle in a haystack. But the girl we're working with, she's like, I got some samples in if you want to come check them out. I was like, sure, okay, fine. It's like, so why don't we do that? And I said, and then we can, if we don't love what we found at Home Depot, we can go get the door that we found at Lowe's. And he was like, okay, sure. That was dumb. That was dumb. That was so dumb. That was so dumb. And it was, dumb as, no, it was dumb. But I didn't take into consideration what my body can actually do. And in and out of a car, on and off a scooter, basically 8 times, wreaked havoc on me. And that was just that. Like so we started at Home Depot. Luckily, we had a scooter. It was cold that day, so it was a scooter. I got a scooter at every place but the flooring store. But like the scooter is holding my arms up, and the seats are never comfortable, so it was like hard on my lower back, and it was like in and out, in and out, in and out. And then we get home, we had like, I don't know, 150 pounds of meat, 200 pounds of meat. I don't know how much we had, and then I had to flash freeze it, and then I had to vacuum seal it. And so that was a very long day, a very, very long day. And by the time I was done, it was like 8 p.m. And I was just like, what in the heck? Why would I do that to myself? Well, then the next day I did some bulk cooking because we got, I wanted to cook up some pot roast. So I cooked 4 pot roast on Tuesday, and I diced up 7 pounds of potatoes. When I tell you, when I went to bed Tuesday night, my hands hurt. My shoulders hurt, my knees hurt on Monday night. I normally don't deal with knee pain, but the pain in my hands, I talked about this before, the nerve pain the last time. This time it was just this throb, like right here. Is there nerves right there? What is this right here? Right is here. What is this? I was just like, oh my gosh, it woke me up from a dead sleep. It wasn't burning this time. It was just so achy. And so I was just like, Wednesday and Thursday, I was absolutely useless. In fact, Wednesday, I was going to go to Firestone because we needed to get our inspection. Was that the only thing I was going there for? Oh, we had layout. So we're going to Firestone. And so I was like, I cannot do that today. So I rescheduled for Friday. So Friday I got a shower, went to Firestone, got that taken care of, and came home. And so it was like, I felt like, and then Tuesday, not only did I cook all that, but I also filmed and colored, and I was just like, what the heck? So it got me thinking about boundaries. One of the things that I'm working with my therapist is having grace and self-compassion, having grace and, self-compassion and all of these things. And it got me thinking about boundaries. So I have set specific boundaries with specific people. So like with my brother, if he wants to call and talk, I am like, is it something that's gonna, like if I'm having a bad day, if I'm having a bad day, I'll be like, okay, is it something that's gonna make me mad or give me anxiety? And if he says yes, I'll be like, I can't handle that today. Can we talk about it tomorrow? Now, if it's an emergency, we'll talk about it. But I'm not in the right headspace to handle this right now. He respects that boundary. And then we'll talk when I feel better. With Rob, I mentioned before that I have felt zero sexual desire in the past 2 years. I feel completely asexual, but I still want to cuddle and give him affection, etc. And I said, he's like, can we still cuddle and stuff? Like, yes. I said, I still want physical touch with you. I said, but I don't want any physical touch that feels like you're trying to lead it towards sex, like grabbing my boobs or, filling up my butt or something like that. I said, but like holding hands and cuddling and spooning. I said, I still want that connection with you. I said, but I can't handle anything right now that feels like it would lead to you wanting to have sex. So I had that boundary with him. Why do I not respect my own boundaries, my own body's boundaries? I know Monday was too much. I should have done 2 things. 2 things, not 4. I shouldn't have gotten in and out in 4 places. I shouldn't have thought that it would be okay for me to be on a scooter that many times. I mean, bless that we had the scooter, but like that was too much. And then to do too much again the next day. So I think one thing that we have to kind of be cognizant of and be aware of, and I'm saying this for me as much as I'm sharing it with you, is our personal boundaries. We have to respect our personal boundaries. Like if we want somebody else to respect the boundary we set, then we have to respect what our body can do, not that we want it to do and it can't do it. How's this battery already dead? Like I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by a dead battery. I have the ability to set boundaries with other people and have people set boundaries with me and be respectful both ways. I don't understand why I can't do that to my own boundaries, my own body's boundaries. Monday was too much. Tuesday on top of Monday, too much. Like I literally needed almost 3 days to recover because I overdid it. If we'd just gone to Sam's in the flooring store, Rob could have gone to Home Depot and Lowe's and reported back or sent a picture or done a video. Like I didn't have to do it all. And that's something that I really need to practice. It's going to have to be a practice. It's going to have to be. When I was teaching Conscious Discipline by Dr. Becky Bailey, one of the is, are you doing this to be helpful or hurtful? So like tattling. Are you telling me this to be helpful or are you telling me this to be hurtful? And Rob and I kind of did that when we first got together, and I would tease him around about it and stuff. But it's like, okay, Misty, is this going to be helpful? Is this going to be hurtful? Like, do you think that this is a realistic expectation for your body? Or should we modify what we're doing? We didn't have to do all that in one day. We really didn't. The floor store, they're only really open through the week, so that was one that we needed to get done. Sam's was one that we needed to get done. But the rest of it, that could have been taken care of on a different day. Like we were in no rush to get a new storm door. So yeah, it's the one thing I struggle with. I treat other people better than I treat myself. And I said that even talking about like in the last video where I talked about like give to others, but I don't give that to me. Like I'll buy myself stuff because I still like to get stuff. I still like to get presents. Like my love language is getting gifts, but I have to be nicer to my body, especially with this upcoming surgery. I'm practicing like taking pills without having to turn my head. Like I'm trying to get used to the idea that my life is going to change. Hopefully it changes for the better. And maybe this isn't a consideration like in August or September, maybe by then, because I've been told that it should help with the weakness in my arms and in my legs. So if it helps with both, I mean, at this point, even if I get 50% relief, I think that's going to be a win. So I have to be better about respecting my body's boundaries because that was too much. And then to go on top of it on Tuesday, and what I should have done was say, baby, can you dice up these potatoes and I will take care of the rest of it? Because it was dicing up the potatoes and then taking the 5-pound roast out of their packaging and putting them in the bag and like putting all the Pyrex together. And like, so it was a bunch of work, and I could have just asked for help, and I didn't. And so it's all about showing yourself compassion, giving yourself grace. You guys tell me that all the time, is you gotta give yourself grace. I do. I really, really do. And it's something that I need to focus on. But it just hit me the other day. It's like, Misty, you set boundaries with other people. You respect other people's boundaries, but you don't respect your own body's boundary, because my ability level is my body's boundary. My body has said, this is what I can do. Please don't ask me to do anything more. Please don't ask me to do any more than this. So yeah, anywho. I just wanted to share that because here's my goal. I share my journey. I started my journey. I mentioned this to Linda the other day in an email. When I started making videos about my weight loss journey in 2017, I did it specifically because you do now, but back then, nobody who was doing keto or sharing stuff about keto was fat. Nobody. People came back on after they'd lost a ton of weight, but nobody was fat. Nobody was my size. Everybody was thin. And I was like, okay, I want people to see someone who is maybe their size, or maybe they're not quite that big, but see somebody doing it. And then it morphed into this health hell journey of hell that I was on for 7 or 8 years. And I brought you guys along with me, and mentioned my struggles, and mentioned having to fight and have to advocate and having to push. And I can't tell you the amount of times people have said, thank you for that, because I was able to stand up for myself to my own doctor, or I was able to ask for this, or I was able to ask for that. So everything I do, I want it to be to share. Even if I just help one of you, then I feel like I've done what I need to do with this platform. And it's why I've been starting these videos, and I did in this one, hotlines, call somebody, find a safe person, because the US is not safe. I mean, Rob grew up in the Worcester, Spencer, Massachusetts area. Worcester just proclaimed itself as a sanctuary city for gay, lesbian, like LGBTQ, trans, Black, Hispanic, like they have designated themselves as a sanctuary city. And it is heartbreaking that we are in 2025 and cities are having to proclaim that you can go there and not be discriminated against. And the US is in crisis, and people aren't taking it seriously. Well, half of us are taking it seriously. And I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I think somebody needs to look into this election. I don't know. Anyway, so I share my story because I know I'm not the only one living it. I know that I'm not the only fat person, or hell, even a woman who's gone to a doctor and said, here are my symptoms. And they're like, well, you just have anxiety. Or if you just lost 15 pounds. I'm sorry, my arm is falling off because it's broken. That has nothing to do with having weight loss surgery or something like that. So that's why when I have these kind of, I don't want to call it a breakthrough, but like an epiphany or whatever, I want to share that with you, because maybe you're in the same thought process as me. Maybe you're still struggling. I mean, it's been 8 years. Are we on year 9? No, we're on year 8 of when all of this kind of blew up for me. And here we are 8 years later, and I'm still struggling with what my body can do and pushing it to do what I want it to do. But it's not, like, I barely slept that night because my knees and my hand hurt so bad. And then using tongs, oh my God, I could barely grip the next day. I couldn't sign my name. I couldn't hold my phone. I kept dropping everything. I mean, I just have to be more kind. I have to be more compassionate. I have to be more kind to myself and to my body and listen to my body's boundaries. And that's really important to me. The other thing that I've been struggling with, and this will be the last thing I'll talk about, is I have probably 5 people in my brain. And 5 people in my brain that are in my brain and in my mind every single day. And I just relive one of the interactions that we have that I look back on with shame or just I don't know what else. I don't know what else to call it, but just like there's this 4 or 5 people that I think about every single day. And I told Rob, I was like, I really feel like I'm going to just have to sit down and write them a letter. I mean, it's not going to get to them because I don't even remember a couple of them, their names, but it's like they're living in my head. I'm reliving these scenarios again and again and again and again. And I think the only way forward is to kind of like send them a letter, just write a letter and just apologize, because that's what I would love to do. I would love to go back in time and tell myself to shut the fuck up, Misty. It's like, shut up, Misty. And one of them, it was, looking back now, it's just like, Misty, you were just so stubborn and so like just set on being right instead of listening to what people were telling you. So yeah, I've been on the struggle bus with that. So anyway, I'm going to try to write a letter and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, therapy's tomorrow. It's going to be a very packed full hour, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, we can only do what we can do. And we have to give ourselves grace, be compassionate, and know that we're doing the best that we can. And if it's a day where you can get up and take a shower and brush your teeth and make something to eat and do laundry, and you can do that without it negatively impacting your body or your day or your life, then go ahead. But if it's a day where you get up and you're like, I can only shower today. Like today, I got up, took a shower, put some makeup on. I'm going to cook, and that's going to be all I can do for the rest of the day. And even that's going to be pushing it a little bit. So just trust in your body, like listen to your body. It has set boundaries with you, and we need to respect them is what it all comes down to. So yeah, haven't started my book yet. I haven't started my book yet. This is hard, you guys. Like trying to like heal your hurt and do all the things and blah, 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 blah. It's not going to be easy. And I think I'm really struggling with that part of it. But yeah. Other than that, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate you. Hopefully this wasn't all over the place. If you're struggling, if you're having issues, be sure to reach out, find a hotline, reach out to someone you consider a safe person. You are loved, you are wanted, you are desired, you belong. Don't let anybody else tell you that. Because if they do, they're wrong. Unless you're a serial killer, then I have questions. But yeah, anyway. I love your faces, friends. I will probably see you at the beginning of the month for my next weigh-in. Yeah. Maybe I'll share with you our weekly meals this week, because I do plan on cooking at least a couple of days. I'm cooking country style ribs today, and I will cook them in the Sweet Baby Ray's no sugar added barbecue sauce, probably in the oven. I wish our grill is broken. I need a new one. We need a new one. He's being stubborn about it, but we need a new one. I would love to put them on the grill, especially today because it's beautiful outside. But yeah, they're gonna have to go in the oven. But yeah. All right, friends. Have a good day, night, weekend, wherever you are. I love your faces. Be safe. I love you. You matter. You belong. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.